Have you ever felt like you're screaming into the void? Praying, pleading, but all you get back is silence? You're not alone. There's a powerful story I want to share with you today about a man who felt just like that. A man who dared to argue with God. He was a good man, or so he thought. He worked hard, treated people kindly, and said his prayers. But life kept throwing punches. His business struggled, his health failed, and the people he trusted let him down. Every night he'd look up at the sky and ask, "Why? Why do I suffer while those who cheat and lie seem to have everything? If you're really there, why won't you answer me?" The silence from the heavens was deafening. It felt like a personal rejection, a confirmation of his deepest fear, that he was all alone. His frustration grew into a bitter anger, a fire in his soul that consumed his hope. One stormy night, as rain lashed against his window, he couldn't take it anymore. He ran outside, shook his fist at the thunderous clouds, and shouted with all the pain in his heart, "I've had enough. I've given you my faith, my devotion, everything. And what have I received? Nothing. If you won't speak to me, then I'm done. I'll stop believing in you." In that moment, a strange calm fell over him. Not peace, but emptiness. He had made his declaration. He had severed the connection. He thought he would feel liberated, free from the burden of unanswered prayers. He was wrong. The days that followed were a slow, agonizing descent. It started small. A major client pulled out, crippling his business. Then, his oldest friend, misunderstanding a situation, turned his back on him. His savings, which he'd carefully built for years, were wiped out by an unexpected crisis. It was as if the very fabric of his life was unraveling, thread by thread. He lost his wealth, his reputation, and the relationships he held dear. But the most profound loss was internal. He lost his peace. The silence he had once raged against was now an echoing chasm inside him, filled with despair and loneliness. He found himself back where he started, on his knees, but this time not in anger. He was broken. He whispered into the dirt, "Why? What did I do wrong? I only wanted an answer. Why are you punishing me?" And then, something shifted. It wasn't a booming voice from the clouds or a flash of lightning. It was a gentle whisper, so soft it felt like his own thought, yet so profound he knew it wasn't. The voice said, "I was never silent, my child. You were just too loud to listen." The words washed over him, not with accusation, but with a gentle, loving truth. He thought back. He remembered the kindness of a stranger on his worst day, a small gesture he had dismissed. He recalled a beautiful sunset that had briefly taken his breath away, a moment of peace he had quickly forgotten in his rush to worry. He remembered the quiet strength he found to get out of bed each morning, a resilience he took for granted. God had been speaking all along, not in grand pronouncements, but in the gentle whispers of everyday life, in the comfort of a warm meal, the loyalty of his dog, the unexpected smile from a passerby. He had been so consumed by his own noise, his anger, his demands, his expectations of how God should answer, that he couldn't hear the symphony of grace that was playing all around him. The voice continued, soft and clear within his soul. "You asked for proof, but faith is not about seeing. It is about trusting in the dark. You demanded a voice, but sometimes the deepest lessons are learned in stillness. I did not take your wealth and friends to punish you. I allowed them to fall away so you could find what is truly unshakable. The peace that comes not from what you have, but from who you know." Tears streamed down the man's face, washing away the dust and the bitterness. They weren't tears of sorrow, but of release. He wasn't weak. He was finally seeing clearly. He understood. Faith isn't a transaction where we give devotion in exchange for blessings. Faith is a relationship, one that is tested and strengthened not when God speaks, but when we choose to keep listening even in the silence. Silence isn't God's absence. It's an invitation. It's a space He creates for us to grow, to quiet our own inner turmoil, and to learn to hear His voice in the subtle, sacred moments of our lives. When life goes quiet, it's not because you've been abandoned. It's because your soul is being taught a new language, the language of stillness, of trust, of unwavering faith. So the next time you feel that silence, the next time your prayers seem to hit a ceiling, don't fill it with anger or doubt. Lean into it. Listen. Quiet your heart and open your eyes. You might just find that the answer you've been screaming for has been whispering to you all along. Keep the faith, because even in the silence, you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that feed the soul. Share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Until next time, be well and listen closely.